You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys today. Well, guys, we're going to jump right on into it today. We're actually filming on location, recording on location. I'm over here in Muskegon, Michigan, hanging out with the man himself, Rick Weihl, and the owner, founder of not only Hurricane, that he's built, bought, sold, the whole deal, but then also SnoPower. And that's what the whole conversation is going to be about today. So, Rick, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, Brian.
It's good to have you on. It's good to have you on the show.
It's been a while.
It has been 5 years since we were here last. So much stuff to unpackage here. Dude, it's just a trip down memory lane right now for me. I'm reminiscing. Last time I was here, I think my YouTube channel had 10,000 subscribers, maybe. I don't even know. I had no idea what I was doing. I still don't have any idea what I'm doing, Rick. I was here hanging out with you guys. I think you were one of the first people that had opened up like your shop, your facility. And because you're only about 2.5 hours down the road from me.
Right.
And you said, why don't you swing on by? We'll give you a whole tour, see the Hurricane stand on leaf blowers, which I had seen them out in the wild, but I had no idea what that was. And so you and I were kindred spirits. This is like a throwback for me, okay? Like it's coming 5 years later. My pay grade's up. Praise the Lord. Your pay grade is. I'm glad to catch you.
Yeah.
Your pay grade's up. And now you have this other Frankenstein monster that is taking on its own thing with SnoPower, which is what we're going to be talking a lot about today. But get these guys up to speed. Who are you? What's your background? We kind of call it the highlight reel. You know, like on Instagram. Like, give me the 2-minute kind of who you are, your background, and what you've been doing, man.
The elevator pitch.
There you go. Sure.
I did lawn care and snow plowing my whole life. And then I ended up building a blower that I put on a lawnmower.
Okay.
Because I got sick of pushing the little wonder around.
Yep.
And my dad says, hey, you don't realize what you've done. I said, I'm saving a bunch of time because I'm riding and not pushing. Mm-hmm. And he said, you need to patent it. And we applied for a patent. We were able to get it. And then we went off to manufacturing, which I thought would take 9 months, and it took 3 years.
Okay.
And a lot of zeros, and we got it done. And then I just beat the bush, and that's how Hurricane came about. We were able to get a couple good distributors, ended up with 1,000 or more dealers.
Wow.
And then I switched from Kohler to Subaru engines, and then I ended up with
Brakes.
The Vanguard.
Yep.
And then they're seeing me double my production every year, and they're like, wait a minute, you're buying more and more engines. You're not just throwing them in the backyard. I said, no, they're sold.
Yeah. And
they were in acquisition mode, and they came in and couldn't resist. They couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And so it fits in their brand. Ferris, Billy Goat.
Yep.
And we tied them up, and we manufactured for 1 year with them, made 1,500 blowers in 1 year. And
wow.
And they asked me why you want to sell it. And I said that I'm missing more money and missed opportunities than I'm making.
Wow.
Because we had already started SnoPower in the background with the rear plow.
Yep. The back blade.
Yeah, the back blade.
So, dude, there's so much to unpackage here. Like, I'm sitting back in my chair. We're in the conference room right now. We're hanging out. The most humble beginnings, the most humble story. I've talked about you on dozens and dozens of shows. You're like an American dream, like success story. Like, dude out there just working, scrapping, figuring it out, mowing lawns, doing what we're all doing.
That's right.
Everybody listening in, you're one of us. You're the more down the road guy. I wouldn't say you're a finished product. Obviously, you wouldn't say that either. You still got a lot of life left in you. But you were the young gun, figuring it out, made something work. Like you said, designed it, patented it, and you just saw a lot of opportunity there, and you went for it. A more recent example is Nick Carlson with Mulchmate, Dawson Manufacturing, really good friend of mine. Well, I'd say he's a good friend of mine. I hope he says the same thing, right? One of those deals. But Nick and I are buddies. But he made this Mulchmate, and 5 years ago, people laughed him out of the room. And 5 years later, he's doing 7, probably going to do 8 digits one day here soon. And he's changing the whole game. And so you guys changed the whole game with the leaf blower. Can you talk about that story for just another minute or two? Because not everybody, is destined to be on a mower and cutting grass for the next 40 years, right? Somebody's making a widget in their garage, in their shop, and some handle this, some sprocket that, the bump feed trimmer head, right? Like some guy did that, the weed eater guy in the 70s or 80s.
OCDC, operator controlled discharge.
All these little things are all little inventions. And by the way, when you guys go to equip, it's usually in the whole back row. It's all these little mom and pop booths, and they've got a couple patents, and they're looking to potentially sell out to a Toro, to a Buyers, to whoever, right? So as long as you want to talk about it, and as much as you're comfortable talking about, what was that whole timeline? How did you go from, how do you even know how to call Briggs to get engines? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many questions I have there on the manufacturing side, and I'm going through these whole facilities, and I'm just like, how did you get here? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And I know it's one bite at a time, you know, all that crap. But it's seriously such an inspirational story is my whole point.
I'll try and keep it short, but the lawnmower that I put the blower on was a Great Dane.
Okay.
And the owner of Great Dane was Dane Skagg.
Yep.
And Dane Skagg is Skagg Lawnmowers. And he also did Bobcat Ransom.
Okay.
And so I went to GIE and I says, Dane, and he's there. He's all hyper. He's an older guy.
Okay.
And I said, I got something to put on it. And I showed it to him after hours. He said, Rick, I'm just too busy. I'm too busy. You got something, but I can't take it on. Well, I didn't know, but he was already courted with John Deere, and he was on his way out.
Okay.
Otherwise, he wanted to do it.
Okay.
So then a year later, I went back to him. He says, there's a guy that I can send you to. His name's Brian. And he can take you where you need to go. And he was kind of like Dane's protege. He knew how to purchase and where to get it and how much and all that stuff.
Okay.
So if it wouldn't be for Brian, I wouldn't have made it.
Wow.
And I got a lot of other guys like Chris Robbins. He came up with the torsion on the front end. Mm-hmm. It's not all about me. You just have to make sure your ears are turned on whenever you're doing something.
Building a team.
That's right. So you get the right people. I got incredible employees. It's not me.
Yep.
I just pull the trigger and I have a vision and I try and get the team to go for it. So that's what we did with Hurricane. And then with the rear plow, it's been around since the 80s, the rear plow.
Okay.
And everybody was taking the bumper off the back of the truck and building bumpers, and I was doing it too. And it would take 4 days to just manhandle and build this bumper with angle iron and so on. And I'm like, hey, we can put rails in the bed of the truck. They pull big trailers on the bed of the truck. They got a resitch. We're going to hook this way.
Yep.
Got a patent on tying the fifth wheel rails to the resitch.
Okay.
So the whole point of it is I don't want to build a lawnmower to compete with Toro or anyone else because they can beat me at that game.
Sure.
But I can build it better.
Wow.
I can put the rear plow on any truck because it fits.
Yep.
And we have down pressure. We have active cutting edge. We've got a cushion, nitrogen cushion, 8 inches on the front plow.
Yep.
So our plow's not the most reasonable, but it's the best in my opinion.
Lawns, landscaping, and outdoor awesomeness, that's what your business does best. Managing your vehicles and optimizing efficiency with the latest technology is what we do best. GPS Track It provides a 24/7 view of where your company vehicles are and how efficiently they're operating, saving you time and money. With more than 12,000 customers, GPS Track It has delivered peace of mind for lawn and landscaping companies for 20 years. Ready to protect your vehicles and save money? Talk with one of our fleet advisors. There's no pressure, no hassles. Call 833-385-0252 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to learn more. Those details are in the show notes. GPS Track It.
Oh, God. I'm gonna have to shovel. I don't even have a snowblower. Nobody to plow me. Oh, my God, and the neighbors suck. They don't help. Oh, my God, what am I gonna do?
Do you want to keep the cash flowing this winter? Head over to LawnpreneurAcademy.com and check out all of Brian Fullerton's new courses and powerful resources to get you cashing in on that white gold through plowing snow. The Snow Plowing Training Course is easy to understand, and you'll learn what it takes to do the job effectively and how to bid, price, and estimate snow plowing for both residential and commercial properties. LawnEntrepreneurAcademy.com has 3 new resources to take the hassle and guesswork out of securing your snow removal jobs. Plus, there's eye-catching marketing materials that can help you secure new clients quickly. Ready to crush the snow game this year? Visit LawnEntrepreneurAcademy.com or use the link in the podcast description.
So the SnoPower conversation, because I'm here picking up my F14. Okay, like we're letting the cat out of the bag. We got our own money into the game. We're supporting Rick. Everything we got going on. Let me ask you this: the hurricane blower is blowing up. No pun intended. And you've always had this redheaded stepchild, right? Like you want. I don't know. Your heart and soul's into all of your children, right?
Yeah.
But like one was getting all your time, and so. Can you explain what did that conversation look like day to day? Because you only got so much bandwidth. That's something I'm learning in life. You can only do so much. And now you're all in on SnoPower because you sold Hurricane. But how did that conversation go? Were you guys, you know what I mean? Like that's a lot to manage. You got 2 companies essentially. Same business,
right.
But 2 brands.
And if you look up Elon Musk and how SpaceX and Tesla was going, he literally split the last of his money, and they were like children to him.
Yes.
And that's how I felt. I was doing a disjustice to SnoPower. And with Hurricane, I'd already built with the biggest engine, 40 horse brakes. So I felt I had taken that as far as it could. And then I just felt like I was a manufacturer.
Okay.
Anybody can do that.
Okay.
And there was no more blower. I didn't have it in me anymore. I had beat the blower gods, I guess, and did the best I could.
Yep.
But I had a lot to do with that SnoPower, with the nitrogen and so on. So it was sad to see it go. But then that's how otherwise I couldn't have done both.
Okay, right. So Briggs approached you or you approached them?
Approached me because of so many sales of
with the engines. So
we were the 3rd largest user of the big Vanguard big block.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I remember how proud you guys were distinctively because you guys had the boxes set up in the warehouse.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know how many at the time, 50, 100, 400, I don't know. But there was boxes. Folks, these boxes are 4 feet by 4 feet crate, boxes of motors.
To the ceiling.
Yeah. And you guys were so excited. I'm like, that's a lot of friggin' engines. And you're like, everyone's going on a unit. And if you guys, the video's probably still up on YouTube. I mean, it's still up on YouTube. That video is 5 years old. And we did a whole tour of the whole place. And I was so nervous too, because I was like, I've never done anything like this, right? Like you were like my first plant tour. And then, 12 months later, the channel's getting 30, 50,000 subs, and the Steels and the Echoes and the X Marks, they're reaching out. They're like, hey, do you want to do some videos and plant tours? I'm like, sure. But it was so humble beginnings because you guys were my first. And it was like the first time I was like totally a fish out of water. I brought Liz. I was like peacock. Like I'm like, babe, come check this out. Like we're going to be, see you brother. I was like, we're going to be like, famous. I don't know this Rick guy, but he's like inviting me over to his place. In the meantime, nobody's invited me over anywhere. You know what I'm saying? They're all like, hey, go away, annoying YouTuber kid. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I think there's a future here. Like, I can help you and help the people that are watching, So the Briggs & Stratton acquisition was in, you said 2018?
Yeah.
Okay, and so did they still use all the facilities here, or what's the story with manufacturing? What did they end up doing with the whole company?
We manufactured for 1 year here.
Okay.
And part of the deal was everybody here got a $2 an hour raise.
Okay.
And a $4,000 bonus if they stayed to the end.
Oh, cool.
So that really helped out the guys. And after that, they moved it out to New York, where they build the Ferris lawnmowers. They have a big facility out there.
So they brought it all in-house?
Yeah, and we sent a team there to teach them how to build the blower housing and how we did it. And assembly and so on. Yeah. And it was pretty cool because we had a good assembly line, but they did it like Henry Ford. I mean, they had 100-foot line, and you drop a part and just keep adding it. At the end, it literally rolled off.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was cool.
That is real. I do like the facility tours, the plant tours. I will say, like, if you've seen one, you've seen 3, you've seen them all. Especially over here in Michigan, in automotive. I've worked in medical facility warehouses with assembly lines. It's fascinating. All just medical supplies, right? It's the craziest thing, but it's all got to come from somewhere, right?
That's right.
So, well, let's shift gears talking about SnoPower, because that's the That's your baby, your new baby, your big baby, the baby that's growing pretty crazy. But before we talk about the front plow, we got to get to the evolution from the rear plow, right? So what's the whole thought process behind this thing? Because when Stanley was doing videos, I brought Stanley over with me because Stanley happened to be doing a video with Short Iron, competitor, right down the road. And they're great guys. And Stan was like literally in town the same day I was coming over here. He was 15 minutes down the road. And so I reached out to Stan, and I think I met Stan like one time before. So you guys got to imagine, like, and I know this sounds so stupid and so fanboy, but like, I didn't know Stan. Like, I wanted to be friends with Stan. I still love Stan. Like, he doesn't call me back, but I still love Stan, you know? So when you guys got to realize, like, I'm walking into meet Rick and his team, I'm blown away. Like, Liz and I, I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, what are we doing here? And then it was, 2 hours later, Stan wraps up. It was late night. I remember it was late. It was like 7, 8 o'clock. Maybe 9 o'clock. It was dusk. And Stan like walks in the garage bay door, and he just Stan. He comes in. He's a character. And I'm like, holy shoot, it's the Dirt Monkey. Right? So I'm like, I'm hanging out with these blower people. I'm hanging out with Stan. And Stan's just coming in. He's an alpha. You're an alpha. And you guys are just like talking shop. And I'm like, Liz, it's like watching Godzilla versus King Kong. This is crazy. So for me, I was so just, I still look back on it. I'm like, this is like kind of where it all started. Like this whole networking and talking to people thing. And so you guys had the back blade. I had never seen anything like it. I don't think Stan had seen anything like it. I think he was getting a short iron maybe for one of his first trucks. And then you're like, hey, if you like the short iron, you're definitely gonna like what we're doing. Right. And so talk about that whole experience, because over here in Michigan, you guys are in Grand Rapids area, like the west side of the state, 100 inches of snow a year. Right. Where I live, it's about 40, 45. So give me the whole, like, what's the idea behind the back blade, and then that whole conversation maybe with Stan, and because I think from there it just was like the rest is history.
Yeah, back blades have been out since the 80s. My first truck was I bought brand new in 1989 and had a rear plow on it.
Okay.
And it was one of the first Boss V plows for that matter. But that's how long I've been with rear plows, and since the 90s we've been plowing with the 180.
Okay.
And a good friend of mine's the one that actually came up with it. I did not come up with the wings turning behind the truck.
Okay.
The guy that did, and I'm going to say his name, and he don't like too much people knowing, but
okay.
Carl Mast is the one that came up with what they call the original swing wing.
Okay.
And it just works so good.
Yeah.
The original one just went straight out, and it didn't go behind, and then later it evolved with the bell cranks.
Okay.
And I just knew it was the best thing, but again, I didn't want to fight the big fish. But when I figured out that the hitch can be tied to every truck, I knew I had something.
Okay.
Because that's like the worst thing for a manufacturer for a plow company. Is it a Ford? Is it a Chevy? What year?
100%.
What kind of lights do you have? And so on.
Yep.
So I made it simple. So now I can compete with a good margin because I have something they
it's universal.
Don't do. Yeah.
So the rear plow. And I know it sounds kind of rudimentary, but let's back up. What's the rear plow help these guys out? Because not everybody's plowing snow. Not everybody's, watching YouTube just yet.
The rear plow is 8 foot closed, and then it has 4 foot wings so it can open up. And it was developed to do driveways.
Okay.
Carl probably does 2,000 driveways in Grand Rapids, if I had to guess.
Wow.
And you just back up to the garage door, take it to the road, pull the wings forward, back, and then
push it.
And then push it with the front and leave.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. And if you were to ask anybody with a rear plow in Muskegon or Grand Rapids, if a plow had to break, which one would you take off? And they'd say, we got to have our rear plow.
Oh, okay.
Take the front one off.
That's insane.
It's way more efficient.
Yeah. And we've all seen like Stan had a couple of videos that blew up. He did Day in Tools and Actions driveway. You remember that one?
Yeah.
He got like 200,000 views in a month. And back then, like Stan wasn't pulling in the views he was pulling in today. I mean, his channel was 1/10 the size. So like, I that's why it's so crazy to me, because like that video had 200,000 views in a month. I think Stan had 75, maybe 100,000 subs back then. So that was a banger video. Yeah. And so and I'm like trying to grow my content. I'm like, what the hell is this plow? What the heck? You're getting 200,000 views in a month. And so did you guys start to get the phone to ring more? It was already kind of accepted though on the west side of the state. But the biggest interesting thing about the rear plow is that you go back at home and it's like a cow looking at a new gate. They're like, what the hell is that? And Nick Carlson said the same thing to me once with his mulch mate. He's going around the country parading this thing around. He's like, I can change your life, like change your game, change the business. Like we can move 100 yards of mulch in a day with this thing versus 20 yards, and with 4 guys instead of 10 guys. And all these companies are like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, what do you mean you don't know? You know, now 5 years later, he's getting penetration to the market. People are coming on board. He's selling dozens of these things to the big guys. You know, big being $1 million plus, and then you get the big guys, and they're buying a bunch. So how have you guys navigated that conversation with, you know, what would you call it? Like just people accepting like that rear plows are the future. They have a lot of merit. It's standard issue over here in Grand Rapids. But you go 2 hours down the road and people are like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, what it is you hit the big areas in New York and Cleveland. They're starting to show up.
Okay.
Minnesota, shout out Iron Valley.
Yeah.
They're a great dealer out there.
Garrett is over there with them.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
And it's just getting out, and people like you and Stan. But it's true that rear plow produces so much money.
Productivity.
You don't want to do time and material. You got to do a per push because it pushes 3 times as much. I can do a McDonald's in 12 minutes.
I know, right?
You just turn and drive in circles and it's done.
Well, when he did Dan's driveway, it was like plow driveway in 12 seconds. He did. He dropped the blade. If you back bladed that, now let's say you can't push it all front, you know, to where the basketball hoop is, down a 80-foot long driveway that tees, you know, or with an L to the garage. That's a dream situation. None of my subdivision lawns are like, or driveways are like that. It's all, you drive to the garage, into the garage, right? Not hook right or hook left. Right. So backblading with a normal plow, there's no down pressure. The blade rides up. We never scrape clean. Every customer, hey, can you come back? There's film. I'm like, that's why we always smelt. But all that's not how it works with a straight, with a rear plow. That thing is cleaning up 12 feet, 14 feet, whatever, 16 feet in one scoop, one pass.
Down pressure, take tires off the ground if you turn the pressure up.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So when he did that driveway with Dan, pulled it all out to the road, I think even Dan was driving the truck, if you remember that video. I think Dan was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Dan with tools in action. He's a character. And then, like you said, scoop into the front yard, and you can do a driveway in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's insane.
With the new front plow, it has down pressure, and we changed it's called the rake angle, which is the attack angle of the cutting edge.
Okay.
So when we back drag with that, I can have Bryson send you some videos. You can maybe post it where they're back dragging.
Okay.
It's super clean, especially with that active cutting edge.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So here's the evolution as we're going through the story here, right, guys? The back blade now is the front blade. What's that mean, Rick? What are we doing here with the front now?
Yeah. The F12 and the F14.
Yeah.
We have it's kind of like the rear plow on the front of the truck.
Okay.
And there's 3-foot wings instead of 4-foot, and steel cutting edge instead of plastic. And it's kind of like a transformer plow. It goes forward and back. It's like making 2 V plows almost. You have 2 wings like normal.
Yeah.
And then we have 8 inches of clearance, or cushion. So if you hit something, it's not a direct blow to your frame.
Okay.
It cushions 8 inches before you get a contact. So you're literally pushing the plow with nitrogen.
And this, I was going to say, you got to talk about the tech. This is not a hole in the wall thing. Okay. This is like state of the art tech.
Yeah. There's 9 cylinders controlled with 4 circuits, and the plow has a transport mode. You'll see it when you go home.
I'm ready.
You lift the plow up, and then you hit transport, and the tips of the plow go up in the air, and then the whole plow comes 8 inches closer to your truck.
Okay.
So your 1,200-pound plow just turned into 1,000 pounds because it's 8 inches less leverage.
Not hanging out. Yep.
And the tips of your wings are not touching the ground, scraping all the time.
Okay.
They're literally more than a foot off the ground.
Wow.
And your truck headlights are shining just as bright as can be because they're all underneath. It's pretty cool. You have to shoot some video with it.
Oh,
let me tell you.
Oh, dude, that's my bread and butter. I love podcasting. I love creating the content too on YouTube and telling the story. And it's been in the dream because that's where we're at right now with my business is, and Rick knows this story, but a lot of you guys do too, but we're getting more into snow. I'm getting, by design, bigger parking lots, not the Walmarts and the Targets, but the 1 to 2, 3 acre sites. And without putting a skid on site with a push box or, some other larger dedicated machines, which also, by the way, take manpower, right? It's hard to find people. I'm looking at my business model and I'm like, okay, we've got some good residential. We're getting more commercial stuff. I'm starting to sub out to fill in the gaps. I need productivity. So I got the new truck with this F14 that's going to be on the front. Do you know numbers yet? Like what this thing can move per hour, per acre? Like, do you got any of this stuff just yet?
I really haven't done any of that, but I spent like all night with Stan pushing some crazy snow. It was like 14
inches.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And I never got stuck. And it was heavy because it started a little bit warm.
Okay.
And it was amazing how much. Another thing, I talk in circles, sorry, but
you're good.
I've been plowing snow for a long time. And last year, I can't believe how many times I said wow when I was using that front plow.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What was the wow?
How much snow. And matter of fact, one of the wows made me change it because we have a big LED light as a work light to see. Mm-hmm. And every time I'm pushing snow, it's higher than the light.
Wow.
So I'm like, dude, we got to raise this up. So now we got extensions on the light, and it still really isn't far enough. But
wow.
It just, there's my wow.
Yeah.
It's literally
I'm like
taller than the hood, and because everybody thinks the plow is too short and it will come up and over, but the way we got our flap design, it just collects in front and it just
stacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
What
in the volume.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like if I got one wing articulated to scoop it in, then I got the straight blade front, and then I got it kind of spilling off on the right, like if I'm windrowing.
Yep.
We got this like weird lightning bolt thing. If I'm doing a big parking lot, I could swoop around in 3-4 circles, and I mean literally, like how could you not with 20? And I'm not selling you guys on it. I'm sold on me. I'm convincing myself the last 6 months because I've been watching Autopilot MT on Instagram. He's over in Big Sky, Montana. I'm watching Garrett all last winter. People are like, "Oh, I watch your YouTube videos. Thanks for making them." I'm like, "Hey, you're welcome." I watch YouTube videos all the time. I watch all the Stan's plowing snow videos when I was getting started plowing snow. So it's just kind of funny how it goes full circle.
Right.
And so I was watching a bunch of Garrett's videos, and he's got the 12, correct?
Yeah.
So I was watching Garrett, GMT Outdoors, great dude. And so I'm like, wait a minute here. Like I got this truck on order. I want productivity. I need like a parking lot type of truck, right? Because we got a lot of big sites that are more open by design. And we got the small stuff too, don't get me wrong. Rob can take truck number 1, go do my small stuff, the detail work, I'm going to start calling it. Right. And then, cause we got detail work, and then I'm going to take the big truck to do the big stuff. I got a couple acre manufacturing warehouse place, 9 truck bays, the whole deal. And I can back that stuff up, make scoops and pass that. And it's all wide open. It's just, if you don't have a 12-foot, whatever plus foot push box down there, it just takes time, and you just need to start moving a lot of volume. So I'm like, dude, the F12. So I reached out to you and I said, I want an F12.
Right.
Actually, I reached out to Bryson, who runs the SnoPower account. I said, hey, I need to get an F12. What are we talking? Let's start running numbers. This was 6 months ago. And Bryson's like, I'll get you, we'll figure out a 12. He goes, that's fine, that's cool. He goes, but you might want to hang tight. And so I'm like, what, why? And he's like, we're working on something, and it's always the teaser. Everybody's always got something, right? That's the jack up their sleeve and the ace up their sleeve. And I'm like, well, what else is out there? And so I got other buddies, Rick, that are texting me because they saw me get the boss mount from Weingart's, and they're like, dude, what are you getting? A Boss, a Fisher? I'm like, no. They're like, well, what? And I'm like, bigger. And so they're like, oh, dude, don't you freaking tell me that you're gonna get an F12. I'm like, nope. And they're like, so then it goes to like, now it's real curiosity, right? They're like, well, what the heck is left? I'm like, just hang tight. Give me 2 weeks, because I got that mountain, dude. My Instagram blew up.
Yeah.
Because we're about to start walking in the snow season here in 2 minutes. And so the F14, talk a little bit about that for a hot second, because that's the big new one.
Yeah, we wanted to have it for the bigger trucks, and I wanted to do it last year, but I was worried because it creates a little more leverage on the truck. Mm-hmm. So what we did is we built the 14, and I call it putting it on a diet.
Okay.
The F12 had some thicker plate steel, 5/16, but I purposely did 14 with 1/4 inch just to see what happens. And I don't know if people have seen on Instagram when we hit the manhole cover and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We test pretty hard, hitting curbs and so on. And we tweaked the 14 a little bit with the 1/4.
Okay.
So we replaced it back with 5/16 in one of the spots where it tweaked. And After that, we're good to go. It weighs about 70 pounds more.
Okay.
Is all. It's 2 foot larger in the center section.
Yeah.
And then we had people saying that the wings were a little too short. So I decided to
Flare them up.
Yeah. And then I got thinking, we put Lexan in there.
Yeah.
So then you can see your plow markers or your lights.
Okay.
And running lights, blinker lights on your truck. So
that's insane.
Yeah.
I'm beyond ecstatic to get home. It's funny, like we're talking snow. It's only September. No, in Michigan, snap your fingers. It'll be here next week. Right. And a lot of you guys listening too. But I can't wait to report back. We got one of the first ones here, first 10 that are rolling off the line, whatever. I think Garrett's got something on order. So maybe check out his content. I'm not going to take his thunder, but you might have something coming down the pike. So you never know. But if you guys want to get one of these things, that's the whole conversation. How do they get in touch? Where are you guys at? That's kind of what I got right now, unless you got some other fun stories to tell. I don't want to take a bunch of your time. It's getting towards the end of the day. But
no, I think we're sitting good. We've got quite a few dealers already. The best is probably to hit the contact page. Our website's growing every day and it's changing every day. We're trying to get the dealers online, but there's a lot of good content, a lot of good videos on the website.
Yep.
But if you hit contact us and check in, Bryson will take care of it or send it to me. And the best part is Bryson and I were talking, and we like your name, Brian. If they put your name in the comment box there and let them know that, hey, Brian, there's $250 for anybody that ends up buying one for the installation.
That's awesome.
It's usually $500 to get installed. And then,
well, thank you.
That'd be a good way, teamwork and help our people.
Yep.
$250 is a lot of money.
That's a tank of gas.
Yeah, that's about it, isn't it? For my Prius.
Yeah. It's not. You're not wrong. But that is a big savings, because I was messaging you and Bryson, and Bryson hits me back. He goes, "Hey, what if we worked out something for your people?" Yeah. And I said, I'm always like +1. I'm like, "What do you got?" And so you guys put this together, and that'll save people a couple $100. Which helps. It goes right back to going back into the business. You can buy a light bar. You can go buy another snowblower almost with that. A couple $100.
Speaking of a light bar, if they buy a second one, we'll give it another $250.
Right.
And we'll put 2 light bars in it.
Wow.
And they got reverse lights in the light bar.
Okay.
You can maybe I'll send you with one.
Let me know.
And then you can shoot some video so that they know what they would get when they use your fancy name. Maybe it should be Brian and Liz.
Brian and Liz.
She's the important one around here.
She gets all the money anyway. I'm in the truck for 12 hours, but she gets the check. Right. I heard a guy once say, it was a Christian talk way back in the sermon. He said, "You're more than a conqueror." And I was like, and he goes, "Let me break it down." He said, "When you're in a boxing ring and the boxer wins and he gets the check," he goes, he's a champion. He goes, "But when he gives the check to the wife, she's more than the champion. More, you know what I mean? So she's more. She gets the upside. So Liz gets the upside for sure. By the way, if you buy 3, they'll get you a free hat.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding. You buy a $50,000 hat, you get 3 free plows.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's right. People get a free hat. I'm like, well, you bought the hat too, buddy.
Right.
So.
That's right.
That's really, really cool. And if they can't figure it out from a dealer standpoint, reach out to you guys. You can come over to Michigan. We'll figure it out. We'll get you hooked up.
We will make it happen.
Yeah.
And I call it pushing from the bottom. If there's not a dealer near you and you've got a great dealer, I'm going to drive there and I'm going to talk to your dealer.
Cool.
And I'm going to tell them that you can sell this one to Jim Bob or Joe Bob if you want it. And
let's carry the line.
Get that dealer set up. Because pushing from the bottom, the dealer wants to take care of their customers.
Yes.
And if the customer says, "I want orange on my truck," they're going to put orange in their floor, especially when 2 or 3 people come in.
Yeah.
I got a place in Vermont. I got one guy, Larry.
Yep.
I took one out there. He went and took me to his dealer, and Larry went out selling for me, and he's got 8 guys putting money down at that dealer. So I ended up with a dealer because Larry, we pushed from the bottom. The dealer cannot not take it.
Right.
So he's got 16 on order out there in Vermont. Shout out, Larry.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the business.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, change comes from the bottom up most of the time. The good change. That's the change you're going to see in most organizations. It's not usually top down. So if you guys need this stuff, you want this stuff, request it. It's going to be good. What else you got for, what's the website, by the way, so we can just plug that, SnoPower.com?
Yeah, snow-power.com.
Okay.
No W, SNO.
SNO. And then give him a follow on Instagram. Give him a follow on TikTok. Bryson also is posting. That's your son.
Yeah.
Talk about him for just a quick second, because Bryson's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty blessed. When I was 30 years old on my birthday, I got a little baby boy called Bryson.
That's right.
And he's grown up to be a good man, and he's just all in.
Yeah.
If you're emailing, you're going to get to Bryson, and he's probably going to call you. And if you're on some type of technical difficulty, you're probably going to get to Bryson. And
yeah,
he just really knows. He knows more than I do. I'm getting so old that my brain doesn't work as well. But yeah, he's a big part of it here. He enjoys it.
Yeah,
it turns out good.
I think your legacy's in good hands.
Yeah, for sure.
When that's ready to be passed on the baton.
Yeah.
So,
shout out to my my new dealer yesterday. I was in Chicago. FN Plow.
One more time.
Yeah. The letter F, the letter N, Plow.
Okay.
So it's effing plow. So if you're effing plowing, he's effing open for his effing customers.
There you go.
He did that on purpose, he told me, but it is a super place. They polished the floors, 50,000 square feet.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Good for them. Yeah.
So if you're in
Chicagoland area, honestly.
That's right. West side, yep.
Heck, I mean, I got people all the time driving from Pennsylvania to Michigan to go to Weingart's. I mean,
that's right.
I last night I was literally drove 4 hours to go to Route 1 Industries, light my truck up. You saw the lights. You saw that.
Sweet.
That's pretty nice, huh?
Bright daylight and pounding your eyes.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're a light guy. You guys plow snow. I'm all proud. I'm like, Rick, you got to check this out. And you're like, you did well, son. So
right.
we're all in it together. We're all crazy together. But you drive to go get this stuff. If it's not at your local dealer, like if they can't figure it out, go drive a couple hours down the road. I'm chasing it down. I came here. I'm working on my dealer. To be honest with you. And you guys all know Weingart's. And I'm like, hey, Dan, where you at? So we'll see. But, well, that's what I got really quick here, brother. I'll tell you what, thank you so much for the time. I don't want to be an expensive date. Super appreciate you opening up the shop, the facility. We shot a YouTube video. So if you guys want to see all this in action, check out the YouTube video later today or tonight, or might have already posted. And give them a shout. Check them out. Is it going to be for everybody? Nope. But for the people that are going all in, they're serious and they're growing a really successful snow business. I think you guys are really going to like the product. I could have put anything on the truck. I could have probably almost got anything from anybody to put on the truck because of YouTube crap. I said, Rick, I want to come over. I want to buy. I want to support. I want to check out what you guys are doing. Right? There's a difference there. So and it goes full circle, man. I can't tell you how reminiscent I am. Just to come back here, it's been 5 years. The paint's changed. The equipment's changed. The lights have changed. But you know what hasn't changed? The people, your mission, your heart, your passion behind what you're doing. So you're a blessed man. I hope to grow old one day and be 1/10 of what you got going on, man.
Well, thank you very much, Brian, for coming out.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good that people like the product we build. So,
amen. Well, we'll report back the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, that's what we need. My ears are open.
There you go. I like it. All right, guys. Well, we'll shut it down. Thanks so much for listening. Rick, thanks for your time, and look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Lawns, landscaping, and outdoor awesomeness, that's what your business does best. Managing your vehicles and optimizing efficiency with the latest technology is what we do best. GPS Track It provides a 24/7 view of where your company vehicles are and how efficiently they're operating, saving you time and money. With more than 12,000 customers, GPS Track It has delivered peace of mind for lawn and landscaping companies for 20 years. Ready to protect your vehicles and save money? Talk with one of our fleet advisors. There's no pressure, no hassles. Call 833-385-0252 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to learn more. Those details are in the show notes. GPS Track It.
Ready to charge up your business and take it to the next level? Well, plug in and join us for Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2022. Don't miss this electrifying opportunity to hear from our top industry professionals. Get powered up in this high-energy atmosphere, learning trade industry knowledge and ways to level up your thinking. This high-energy teaching and networking event is full of motivational information, giveaways, and trade industry secrets. Take charge and register now for the industry's largest training event of the year, Launchpreneur Academy Live 2022.
All around, it's just a great experience.
I didn't realize how important that LAL is.
You get more than you spend at for a 4-year degree.
Man, I can't wait. This has been a great event, and I will definitely be back next year.
Take charge and register now.
Entrepreneur Academy Live is Saturday, November 12th in Novi, Michigan. Get your tickets now for the early bird price of $197. The price goes up at the end of September. The link to register is in the podcast description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.